Beltero, both architects. We believe that this house burned during the 1940s and is currently a vacant lot.
The usage of the park changed somewhat from the nature activities of the past to recreation during the 1910s and 1920s. Could you tell us about some of those changes?
In 1910, the Northside Chamber of Commerce proposed that a shelter house be built in Goodale Park that would include the caretaker's residence, public restrooms, and landscape terraces on both sides. With very little modification, the structure was built in 1912 at a cost of $4,500 and included an enclosed dining area at the south end. The old caretaker's residence was raised when the shelter house residence was completed. Beginning with activities sponsored by the Godman Guild for the children of nearby Flytown, the city started a recreation program that for Goodale Park in 1917 was described as the largest in the city. In 1933, the dining room of the shelter house was removed to form a stage. This stage was used very heavily for amateur vaudeville productions during the 1930s. Even though organized recreation was being expanded, boating on the lakes was discontinued with the removal of the boathouses on both lakes by 1920. By this time, all of the Victorian buildings had been removed.
Could you tell us about some of the changes that were occurring in the neighborhood around the park at the same time?
The Starling Medical School and the Ohio Medical College combined in 1914 to form the Medical and Dental Schools of Ohio State University, but they remained by the park until about 1927 when space was provided on the campus. In 1922, the Protestant hospital was sold to the Methodists and its name was changed to White Cross Hospital, the predecessor of Riverside Hospital. A wing on the south side was added to the hospital, which completed the original plan for the hospital, which was drafted 30 years earlier. In 1921, the old Parkview Sanitarium was renovated with fireproof floors into the McKinley Hospital. But in 1927, it was converted to a nurse's home for White Cross Hospital called Henderson Hall. The United Commercial Travelers built a new headquarters in 1922 to replace the old Dennison Mansion.
Could you tell us what's happened in the park during the last 50 years or so?
Until the end of the 1940s, when the city had recovered from World War II, the park still maintained its visual orientation for the appreciation of adults with a small amount of playground equipment for children. In 1938, the bridge over the West Lake collapsed and was not replaced until 1948. Whether planned or not, the 1950s began two shifts in the management of the park. The expansion of the Columbus Park system directed attention away from the downtown parks, and maintenance was minimized. The carriage drives, made obsolete by cars, were removed. The large West Lake was removed. Shrubs, trees, and flower beds were not replaced as they died. Recreation, rather than landscaping, became the primary focus of the park, and baseball, basketball, and tennis courts were installed where the drives and lake had once been. During the 1960s and 1970s, little attention was given to the park and few changes were made. But the establishment of the Victorian Village by the city of Columbus in 1973 drew attention to the park as a part of a vital redevelopment of that area. By the mid-1980s, there was no landscape planting in the park except grass and trees. Although there had been other neighborhood attempts to spare the park from neglect and ill-conceived ideas, an attempt to install an amusement park ride led to the formation of the Friends of Goodale Park. These folks have prodded the city and raised money for hundreds of trees, the gazebo, which was built in 1990, and they have planted many new flower beds.
The park has been proposed as a location for some other activities at various times. Can you tell us about some of these?
The park has many attributes which have led it to be coveted for other uses. Being public land within walking distance of a rail depot led to the park being used as a military rendezvous during the Civil War, but only until the city was reminded that Lincoln Goodale